Tanner's Bar and Grill is the best place in Lincoln for a casual get-together, best place to watch a game, and the best for pre- and post-game. Catch college and NFL football as well as the volleyball action this season at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. What's better than wings, cold beer, and a Husker win? Enjoy great food and drink specials every day and tons of TVs to catch all the action. Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Satterfield Jewelers. As you gear up for game day this season, don't forget the MVP in your life. Whether it's a ruby bracelet to show off for team spirit or a timeless Heartland diamond that shines from across the room, we've got the perfect play. Our experts at Sartor Heyman are here to help you make the winning move. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, into the Adam Carriker Show. It's a dreary Monday, ladies and gentlemen, not just because of the game, but just due to the weather, although it is good to get a little bit of moisture. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Adam Carriker Show, the show that gives you unique insights, unbridled honesty. And when he's awake, producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process. He's smiling over there. He must be awake today. All right, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if you'd like to do it on Wednesdays as well, Steve Taylor drops that knowledge. Join us here live on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. We talk Husker sports, life in general. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The pause was for effect. Oh, and as always, send in your questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, or otherwise. If producer Jake, so it's on him. So if he doesn't answer we don't answer your question, it's on him. If he deems your question worthy enough, ladies and gentlemen, we will respond immediately on air. Jake, what is that number?
402-464-5685. It is the Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line, and there's a lot of text today, so don't get mad at me. I'm going to pick through them.
You have my permission to get mad at Jake. You can yell at him through the internet. It's okay. Or your phone or wherever you're listening, the radio, TV, etc. All right. If you saw the headline of the show is Marcus Satterfield is hurting Nebraska football, and Matt RHULE needs to be held accountable for his hires. So I have been essentially had a lot of things sent my way. Calls, texts. And so I've saved some of these, and a lot of these I've found on my own as well. But it's going to be a little bit all over the place, but it's all going to wrap together. Okay. So one of the things that was sent to me as I was actually walking in here, and we're going to give my press conference reaction to Matt RHULE, my reaction to Matt RHULE's press conference at 12:30, 12:35. All right. And then at the end of the show, we will react to all of the major college football games from this past weekend. And there was quite the shakeup. Indiana's now a top 10 team. Colorado's like a top 20 team. Ohio State is in the top 3 after beating Penn State. All sorts of stuff to talk about at the end of the show in general college football world. But let's get to what matters most. That's Nebraska football and what in the blue hell is going on in Husker Nation. But this is one of the things that was sent to me as I was walking in the doors of the studio. Nebraska coach Matt RHULE says, NU can't run the ball to control the game. It can't protect on blitzes very well. None of that is news. He said, and I quote, I thought we'd play better on offense than we are, end quote. That's the newsworthy part to me, because I'm tired of hearing we weren't ready to go at the start of a game like we should have been, or I thought we'd play better, or basically, what I hear is the man is not quite prepared, or just not prepared, or doesn't quite know what is needed to be successful in the Big Ten Conference. And I understand it's his first time coaching here, but I'm tired of hearing, I thought it'd be this. I thought that would happen. I thought we'd come out ready. I thought we'd play better. I'm just kind of tired of hearing that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Nebraska has still not won a game. The Matt RHULE era when the defense gives up more than 14 points. All right. Such an indictment on the state of things. The defense has to play lights out or they'll lose every single week. It's not sustainable and cannot be accepted moving forward. I could not possibly agree anymore. Haven't won a single game when the defense has given up 14 points since Matt RHULE got here. Matt RHULE is now 10-11 during his tenure here at Nebraska. That's got to change. And the defense plays good at times, not consistent, not great, good at times. It's very up and down, very sporadic. For me, you got to get more out of your offense than that. All right. There's a couple things in here from some of the current players. Like here's one from Ty Robinson. All right. Ty Robinson refuses to let Nebraska field of team players on the team. The here we go again mentality, not going to stand for it. He says, I know people don't want to hear words right now. They want to see actions and results on the field, and I'm with you, honestly. But when it comes to Ty specifically, he's probably my favorite player on the entire team. Like, little things matter to me. He's at every press conference. Like, he hasn't missed a post-game press conference. He doesn't have to be there. He's available every week on Monday to the media. Now, I don't know if he's always there, or on Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't know if he's always there every single week, but he's there 9 times out of 10. Like, this dude is my favorite player on the team because he's accountable. He has a certain attitude, and he's trying to get people around him to do it as well. It's a challenge. There's still a lot of the Frost players still around. I don't mean that as a slam. I simply mean it as there was a culture and a mentality that's still there. And some of the older players, as much as I love them, it's hard to get those things out of you. If that's what you had indoctrinated or ingrained into you, if that's what you were taught when you were introduced to college life and college football. It's a challenge. Again, not a slam, just is what it is. All right. The result is the same, ladies and gentlemen, with bowl eligibility on the line. Over the past 2 years, Nebraska is 0-7 in games with bowl eligibility on the line. At Michigan State, lost. I remember that Michigan State game. That's a game that I was like, they had lost like 4 or 5 in a row. They were really struggling. They came out and they threw the ball effectively on us and they beat us. And that was, of the 4 straight losses to end last year, that was the one that was the biggest head scratcher to me. All right, at Michigan State loss versus Maryland loss, at Wisconsin an overtime loss versus Iowa loss, at Indiana this year blowout loss, at Ohio State loss versus UCLA loss. And frankly, it doesn't get a whole lot easier from here. USC, Wisconsin, Iowa, it doesn't get easier. All right, when it comes to Dylan Raiola, I said all summer, all spring, I said, you don't know what you're going to get out of a true freshman. Some people almost kind of laughed at me, like when he looked so good in the spring game. The game where RHULE said we want to air it out, and it was basically set up for the offenses to throw well and be successful. You remember that? People almost kind of laughed at me. Some people, not a lot, not the intelligent ones, but even when he started the year, and I couldn't have been happier the way he was playing. I said he was exceeding expectations. I set the bar low. I said I wanted a 66% completion percentage, 2-to-1 TD to INT ratio. And that was all I wanted. And move the chains, make smart decisions. He was exceeding that, over 70%. He had a percent completion percentage. He was 3-to-1 TD, 9 touchdowns to 3 INT ratio at one point. A lot of that is flipped. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in like a month, throwing a lot more interceptions, obviously not playing the way he would like. But part of that's on the coaches. Part of that's on the coaches for putting so much on a true freshman. There's been times this year I've sat here and talked about couldn't count on the defense, couldn't count on the run game. Special teams was a liability. They put it all on the true freshman quarterback. And again, I'm going to harken back to that Illinois game as one of those games. And I think it was unfair what they did. And it's on them for not developing him and actually letting him regress. I'm not going to blame a 19-year-old true freshman. Now, if he were 21 or if he were a third-year starter, it'd be different. But I'm not going to put that on him. He's played more snaps than any other true freshman quarterback in America. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? It was a coaching decision. But his last game was it was. Saturday marked Raiola's worst statistical performance of the season, only completing 52% of his passes with 177 yards, passing minus 10 yards rushing before he left the game with a back injury in the fourth quarter. I do hope he's able to play. Probably will be able to. Got to do more with Harburg. I'm going to keep beating that dead horse because the horse ain't dead. They just don't want to pay attention to the guy beating it. All right. What do we got next here? It's been 1 week since Nebraska's Matt RHULE waxed poetic about the Huskers' newly found championship mindset. Yes, I remember this one. Nebraska was on the heels of a close loss and a winnable game to number 4 Ohio State. He was proud, as he should have been. He wasn't satisfied, as he should have been, but he was proud and offered up the challenge to his team. This, and I quote, "If we don't do it again next week," talking about UCLA, RHULE said after the close loss in Columbus, then it was all for naught. This is a step, and it has to be where we are now that we play like this every week, end quote. That did not happen. I don't think the Ohio State game was all for naught. It's an L, but it could have been 63-0. So at least it wasn't that, I guess. Not much of a moral victory or victory at all because you lost to UCLA. Had you gone out and beaten UCLA after the Ohio State performance, we are sitting here feeling so different. Jake, I don't have to question if Jake's taking a nap. He's absolutely awake. He's going to have his party hat on. Vershawn's not crying in the previous segment. I love you, Vershawn. But nobody's trying to go after the fans, which is asinine, not asinine or 8. It's asinine. I will talk about that tomorrow. And again, he was a captain. He was a black shirt. He wore the N. He's entitled to his opinion. I'll give mine tomorrow on that. But they didn't follow it up with the win at UCLA. So I'm kind of with RHULE. It really demeans what you did at Ohio State. All right. Oh, this was a screenshot from someone said to me. It was my interview. Adam Kruger, Omaha TV station, interviews me every Sunday night, puts it out on the news. So they sent this screenshot to me. And here's my quote. It's weird to say my quote, but it was sent to me. So here it is. And I quote, "This is the time to make the switch. I don't think about it. I do it," end quote. When Adam asked me, should we make a switch as a play caller? Yes. There was no announcement today in the press conference. I even texted Jake, let's keep an eye on that. I was like looking for it. He's not going to fire anybody. He's not going to do anything. You don't have to do anything. It's the easiest switch in the world. You're now calling plays, Glenn Thomas. Marcus Satterfield. By the way, the tight end group is the only position group that's actually played well this year consistently at all, which is the group Marcus Satterfield coaches. Nothing wrong with being a great position coach. Not a play caller. He's hurting the team with his play calls. Marcus, you focus on the tight ends. Glenn, you have 23 years of college and NFL coaching experience, 10 years as an offensive coordinator. You got a bye week to prepare this team. Let's get ready to go play USC. Didn't happen. All right. Nebraska's last 5 offensive coordinators. All right. Earmuffs, children. Marcus Satterfield, Mark Whipple, Matt Lubick, Troy Walters. Dude, Troy Walters gave me daggers for looks because I said one time I'm not sure what he does. And I didn't mean it disrespectfully. I simply said we have an offensive coordinator that doesn't call plays because Scott Frost was calling plays. I'm kind of curious. I'd love to chat with Troy to see what he does as far as the OC. He didn't like that. I tell you what. Danny Langsdorff before that. All right. Earmuffs can stay on or go off if you'd like. Satterfield. All right. This was a tweet that was sent me. This is not, a single opinion. Satterfield will inevitably join the long list of Nebraska coordinators who take a step down in coaching positions when he's let go. If that happens, got to speak an if. I digress. The only difference is he's one of the highest paid coordinators in the country. If that does happen, okay. And the guy put here, 3-0 swing and miss by RHULE on a fastball middle. All right. Where is Satterfield's? I got his, how much he's being paid in here. Is it 1.2 or 1.4?
1.4 for you there.
All right. So 1.4. And here's the thing. That makes him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One of the tied for 8th in the country. There's like 4 guys tied for 8th in the country as the highest paid offensive coordinator in the country. All right. Chip Kelly isn't even the highest paid. Mike Denbrock of Notre Dame, 2.1. Chip Kelly, $2 million. How's Chip Kelly not the highest paid? He really didn't want to be at UCLA. But Deshaun Foster's doing all right there. All right. This was an interesting one. All right, Jake, I want your quick thoughts on this, my friend. If Marcus Satterfield has a job in Lincoln by year's end, Matt RHULE's seat will be red hot and I will strike the match. That was sent to me from a friend of mine. Do you think if Satterfield stays on at the end of the year, let's say we don't progress in offense, we don't do better, the season ends how some folks think it might, but he keeps his job, do you think that makes Matt RHULE's seat incredibly hot?
Yeah, I think so. You're going into year 3, and there's expectations for Matt RHULE's year 3 regardless. I don't see, if the offense doesn't get better, like you said, maybe these last 3 games something can change. But if this is how it's going to end, I don't think that Matt RHULE can bring back Satterfield. I don't think that can happen going into year 3. I think the state might turn upside down.
I just had an image of literally the state of Nebraska, just like the map visual image of state of Nebraska flipping upside down.
It might happen.
It might. All right. Every map that comes out next year, Nebraska would be upside down if what we just talked about happens. All right. Since firing Brian Ferentz last season, Iowa has scored 30 points 6 times this year. Remember, they had to average 25 last year, or Baby Ferentz couldn't keep his job. That didn't happen. He's not there. Daddy Ball no longer reigns in Iowa. And all of a sudden, they've scored 30 points or more 6 times this year. 4 of those have been against Big Ten opponents. Just let that sink in. Coaching matters. I'm afraid Marcus Satterfield is getting similar results to Brian Ferentz. And the very next thing that was sent to me, all right, just like last season, Nebraska might have the worst offense in the Big Ten. Well, Iowa had the worst offense in the Big Ten last year, just to be clear. But yeah, Nebraska's struggling, that's for sure. All right, here's another one I got. I think it's fair to say that Colorado was clearly our Super Bowl. This team has been, this has been an unmotivated team all season outside of that game. With that said, we still own Colorado, LOL. That was actually at 402 Nation on X. It was interesting. I actually think you guys talked about this a week ago on the captain. Did we put too much into the Colorado game? Honestly, I didn't listen to your segment. I don't know what was said. My take is no. My take is the appropriate amount of effort and energy and priority was placed on that game. And if you think you can't replicate that effort more than just once a year, once every decade, that's insane. Okay. When you're playing in the NFL, every single week is a dogfight that comes down to the end almost. Very rarely is there a blowout. Okay. And they're capable of doing it. In college football, you look at some of these schedules that some of these teams are playing. You look at Florida, they're playing Bama, they're playing Georgia, they're playing Tennessee, they're playing LSU. My God, it's like they're playing an NFL schedule. And they're still almost 5. I think they are 500. And we're actually ahead of Georgia for a while till their starting quarterback went out, and then Georgia pulled away by 2 TDs. So no. What about the playoffs? You got to win like 3-4 playoff games in a row to win the Super Bowl, to win a college football playoff now, a championship now. To say that, we put too much priority on Colorado is ridiculous in my mind. You can come out of all hyped up, ready for a game like that. And it's hard to be that hyped every single game, but to say that you can't replicate something like that? Like Nebraska never had big games before, and then you didn't have to play 2 or 3 high-ranked opponents in a season in our past history or our past seasons. That's crazy. No, I have no problem with anything about that game, how much effort was put into it. But if that's all you've got and that's all you can give, there are other sports out there that are great options. That's my response to that. All right, the total offense. We're going to go week by week here, and total defense. Week 1, we were 33rd in the country. UTEP. Dropped to 58 week 2. Hey, there was 1 week where we moved up. Week 3, we moved up to 50th in the country. Week 4, 62nd, then 77, then 88th, then 93. Now we're, down 6 spots to 99 in the country on offense. Total defense, week 1, 29, then 24, then 23, then 30, 19, 13, down to 13th in the country week 6, then 18, 16, and now we're 17, down 1 spot. Kind of been hanging out in that range all year. All right. The UCLA 27-20 win over Nebraska. You can argue Indiana. You can. And if Indiana had happened after Ohio State and UCLA had happened before Ohio State, you can argue Indiana either way. I'm saying the placement and the timing of the game and the fact that you had lost a lot of the goodwill that was built up after the Indiana game that Matt RHULE had built up. You gained a good portion of it back, but it was teetering, and you lost it and then some again with UCLA. So in my opinion, this is the worst loss of the RHULE era because we looked outcoached, unprepared by a first-time head coach who never even been a coordinator before, with all due respect to Deshaun Watson, who I think is recruiting really well out there.
Deshaun Foster. Don't give Deshaun Watson any respect.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for correcting me on that. Deshaun Foster. Okay. We looked unprepared, outcoached, and now 0-5 in November the last 2 years. Makes for a long bye week. All right. Here are some of Satterfield's offensive rankings over the years. You know what? I got a picture of that's a little bit clearer, and I'm going to go find that picture. But you just go through the years. It's a little rough to look at. All right. 2013 at Temple, 88th in the country in points per game, 75th in yards per game. 2014, 100th in points per game, 120th in yards per game, 23rd in turnovers per game, by the way. 2015, 61st in the country, made some improvements. Points per game, 96th, crept into the top 100 anyways, in yards per game. All right. Says USC here. It means University of South Carolina. In Satterfield's case, 106th in points per game in the country, 110th in yards per game, 109th in turnovers per game. His offenses, for whatever, tend to produce a lot of turnovers. The next year, 40th in points per game. What a jump that is. Still not top 40, though. Just 72nd in the country in yards per game, 123rd in turnovers per game again. All right, 2023, Nebraska, 20th in the country in points per game, 112th in yards per game. And as we know, not great in turnovers per game, just not even going to read that out loud. And this year, we're 106 in points per game, 93rd in yards per game. We're actually improved in turnovers per game, up to 56th. All right. How much time we got left here, Jake?
Yeah, a few minutes here.
Okay. So let's move on to the next one here. At the start of the bye week, the situation for Nebraska football could be considered urgent. The Huskers' offense has clearly regressed. The team has clearly regressed. They're clearly not getting better. You look around, you see other teams getting better. Indiana looks stronger week after week. Colorado's clearly improved. Gag me. The Huskers' offense is taking steps back and, frankly, holding the program back. I wonder, and it's almost kind of why I was so curious about today's press conference, and there's still a lot of stuff to talk about. And he's clearly going to wait till the offseason to make any changes, if he's going to. Presume changes, hopeful changes, with all due respect. Jake, do you think the offseason's a little bit too late to make some changes?
I think you're right. At this point this would probably be a time maybe I would try to change something up, and maybe, play caller would be something you could do there with Glenn Thomas. I mean, you brought him in the offseason seemingly for a situation like this. If it arises, I don't even know how to say the past tense of that, but yeah, I would probably say it's time to make the change. But
I don't think the offseason is too late. And I do think RHULE is smart enough to recognize that something needs to happen, unless drastic things happen in such an insanely positive way these last 3 games, which would be great. Doesn't seem likely, unfortunately. I don't think he's going to want to, but he's got to be smart enough to realize that it needs to happen. All right. And again, 5 of the last 6 games, pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, got a cough today. In the post-game press conferences, RHULE, and I alluded to this earlier, has been really surprised that we started out flat against teams like UCLA, Illinois, Rutgers, Purdue. That's 5 of the last 6 games that's been mentioned in the post-game press conference. A couple other random stats, and we got to get to break. Bo Pelini's record in November at Nebraska, 20-8. Every coach since him in November, 9-26. All right, let's see what else we got before we get out of here. Ooh, I was asked about Dana Holgerson. Is he in the building? All right, is he still around the program? Like somebody just wanted to know what he was doing. He's a defensive analyst at TCU. Just answering a question, nothing more. All right, let's see. One fan said Curt Cignetti has won as many games in 10 games as Matt RHULE has in 21. Almost correct. Indiana's 9-0. Matt RHULE's 10-11 in his 21 games. So Cignetti's only coached 9 games, but that was pretty close. All right, any final thoughts here? Games decided by single digits, then we'll head to break. Bo Pelini was 20-11. Bill Callahan was 10-7. Mike Riley was 7-10. Scott Frost was 5-22. Matt RHULE 2-8. And then I do have one more. Jim Rose. Love Jim Rose. I'm troubled by an emerging trend. Our staff struggles to adjust when the other team does something we didn't expect. Didn't RHULE make some sort of comment about Indiana spending the entire week studying us and coming up with new things the entire bye week? We could have done that. We could have also done in-game adjustments. Just saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. I'll give my reaction to Matt RHULE's press conference when we come back.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Hi, this is Investigator Joe Villamonte with the Lincoln Police Union, asking you to vote for Carolyn Bosin for legislator. As a prosecutor, Carolyn Bosin has always supported law enforcement to keep our community safe. Carolyn Bosin has the experience we need. Carolyn Bosin is the only choice for legislator to keep our community safe. Join the law enforcement community in voting to keep our community safe. Vote Carolyn Bosin on November 5th.
Paid for by Bosin for Legislature.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. My grandpa Don always made sure that our diamonds are the most exceptional you could find in the world. That's why we're introducing our exclusive Heartland Diamond Collection. If you're ready to add some sparkle to your life that you can see from across the room, the Heartland Diamond is for you. Stop in to Sartor Heyman to see for yourself. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
There are moments in life surrounded by family and friends, when you realize this is what it's all about. For 65 years, the Riddles family has been creating jewelry to capture these precious moments, crafting one memory at a time to last forever. Now, join them in celebrating Riddles Jewelry's 65th anniversary with incredible savings. Enjoy up to 30% off engagement rings. And for a limited time, save up to an additional $700 on your ring purchase. At Riddles, they're more than jewelry. They're here to help you create moments that truly sparkle, surrounded by the people who matter most. Family owned. Today, tomorrow, forever. Riddles Jewelry.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. I'm just going to warn you right now, this is a loaded segment. We just got some interesting reporting news, but this segment of the Adam Carriker Show on the Ticket is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue at 11th and Cornhusker, open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burnt and delicious sandwiches, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, and a full slab of equally delicious ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much more, plus incredible sides. Get fueled for your lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located at 11th and Cornhusker. A couple of quick things. And actually, as you clip this, you might want to include this too. Jake always puts out my press conference reaction each and every week. He can include this if he'd like. First of all, shout out to Nebraska volleyball. They had not beaten Wisconsin in Madison since 2013. They didn't just win, they swept them. Congratulations on that. All right, Brian Buscini, I didn't get to this in the first segment, said, and I quote, "In times like this, a lot of people want to start pointing fingers, but it's really critical to understand when you point a finger, there's three pointing back at you," end quote. Hey, I love Brian, and as long as you ain't pointing any of the stupid fingers at the fans, I'm cool with that. Again, that's a topic for tomorrow. Jumping all over the place continued. ESPN's BPI has Nebraska basketball, aka Nebraska ball, going 21-10, 11-9 in conference. Jake, would you take that for their season or not? Yes or no?
Oh, I'm signing up. Yeah.
Does it get them in the tournament? It's all I care about. That gets them in the. Remember last year was like the 22 wins. was like the key number. But if they get in the tournament, that's all I care about, kind of like going to a bowl game. Just saying. All right. What else do I got here? Oh, I will say this. Since it's in the headline, I should probably address it real quick. Matt Rhule needs to be held accountable, all right, for the head coaching decisions. Last year, the Jeff Sims quarterback decision was not good. The decision to go all in on a 19-year-old was unfair to the kid, not blaming Dylan. But you got to have a better plan if it doesn't go well, or you got to be able to help him out, or at least make sure he doesn't get worse throughout the season. That's on the coaching staff. All right, what else do I got here? Oh, my man just popped in. Remind me his name, I'm sorry. Mike, yeah, Mike, they've got the show right after this. All right, I'm talking so fast, my head's all over the place. What else is new? CTE Explained. Ladies and gentlemen, I digress. Check out the locker room. Mike, Chancellor Brewington, 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time. But Mike is probably going to share a story. Again, I think he shared it last week. He said on his show, where Matt Rhule cut a guy mid-practice. Okay, in the middle of a practice with the Carolina Panthers, and Mike was there. So it can't be that hard to make changes for Matt Rhule, especially for a guy getting paid $1.4 million, one of the top 10 highest paid OCs in the country. Somebody else should be calling plays. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And here's the reported news via Mike. All right, Dana Holgorsen is in your city. If you're a Usos fan, you'll get it. If not, that's okay. Dana Holgorsen is in Lincoln, and he is reportedly going to be helping out with the offense. We want to confirm that, but that is what's been kind of thrown our way at this point. And if and when that is possibly confirmed, that would be definitely eye-catching news. All right, and I talked about this. This is the official start of my press conference reaction. I talked about this at the top of the show. Matt Rhule said, and I quote, "I thought we'd play better on offense than we are," end quote. I'm tired of hearing, I thought we'd come out ready to play better. I thought we'd play better on offense. I thought we'd play better as a whole. I thought this. I thought that. Be more prepared, be more educated, and yeah, 2 + 2 = 4, because apparently we don't know what needs to be expected right now because of what's being said and what's happening on the field. And I say that with all due respect, all right? But again, 2 + 2 = 4, no matter how badly somebody might want it to equal 5. Let's light into some of these press conference highlights. Ramir Johnson suffered an ankle injury. His status is unknown. All right, speedy recovery to Ramir. This week will be a week of introspection. Sounds like a good plan to me. Said it was a disappointing Saturday, Rhule did, but recruits came in the next day. Who saw a great game day atmosphere. I'm not going to lie, when I read that during the break, I had to pause at that one just because there's been conflicting reports on that. So, okay. Need to get ready for USC. We'll stay late tonight to prepare. Sounds good to me. Coach Rhule's job is to always consider everything. I agree. He will have outside parties come in and give a fresh set of eyes on both offense and defense. I love that idea. And the word that we're getting is that it's Dana Holgorsen for the offense. Okay. If that is true, it would be freaking phenomenal, I think. Okay. But a fresh set of eyes. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea as well. Offensively, we're not able to run the ball to control the game. I mean, basically, I'm agreeing or I'm just directly disagreeing with a lot of this. Third downs, I agree with that. Third downs and not being able to run consistently doesn't give us a chance to win. Yeah, I've been talking about the run game all year. And last spring, when Matt Rhule said going into the spring game, they wanted to focus on airing it out and throwing the ball because they knew they could run the ball, doesn't age well now. And it shows, again, maybe wasn't entirely prepared for what they were going to face and didn't know what truly was needed on our end, so to speak. Just my humble thoughts. Shakori Barney is out there consistently making plays, and I quote, "He's a lightning rod out there," end quote. All right. Again, this is on here again, so I'll read it again, and I quote, "I thought we'd be playing better on offense than we are." Okay. "This is unbelievable, invaluable experience for Dylan Raiola." I got to pause there. Is it? When you're getting pummeled by Indiana, maybe bring in Harburg. Maybe the first game of the year, halfway through the third quarter, leave Dylan in. Remember the UTEP game? Dylan was out halfway through the third quarter. You know the game when he needed the most experience? That's when Harburg came in. Every game since, when the score isn't going great or Dylan looks a little lost or maybe he could take a breather or maybe, maybe put Harburg in. Maybe save some confidence. Maybe let him take a breather. Maybe remember he's a true freshman. Or maybe when the game's on the line on Saturday, maybe Harburg's actually taken a few reps throughout the season when he has to go in and make the plays instead of being thrust in for the first time in 2 months. There's another thought. All right, we haven't been consistent enough, but for a young freshman quarterback, this is on-the-job training. It is on-the-job training. I can't disagree with that. Maybe certain aspects could be handled differently, but as a general whole, can't disagree with that statement. Not an excuse, but we've had 3 straight teams coming off a bye, throwing different packages at us. You know, when I talk about other college teams on this show, I talked about LSU playing Ole Miss a couple weeks ago. I said Ole Miss is the better team, but LSU is going to win. Why? Because Ole Miss had just played 7 straight weeks. They just had 3 straight road games. It was at home, at night, on LSU's field, and they were coming off a bye. It's part of college football. All right, you've got A&M. Goes to South Carolina, who, by the way, should have beaten LSU, should have beaten Alabama, but they didn't. They're an under 500 team. A&M's a top 10 team. And I picked South Carolina to win. You want to know why? Because they were at home, off a bye, and A&M had just played like 7 straight games as well. And they'd had a big-time game the week before versus LSU. It's just part of college football. All right. Part of Coach Rhule's job this week is to look at Marcus Satterfield's play calling and game planning. Just now. I'm sure he's done it before, but no. The time is to make a change now. This is the time to make a change, not to continue what should have already been done. Am I wrong on any of this? Am I just completely out there? Am I being unfair? Am I just being a jerk on this Monday meltdown edition of the Adam Carriker Show? Help me out, Jake.
I don't think so. I think this is pretty much the feelings of Husker Nation. They're all upset too.
Defensively, we didn't play as well as we have been. No crap. We knew that we'd have more opportunities to run the ball in the second half versus UCLA. Coach Rhule needs to look at his own approach to addressing the inconsistency. I appreciate that. Hey, he never deflects responsibility. He never blames anyone else. Like, I appreciate that about him. I do. I 100% appreciate that about Matt Rhule. Coach Rhule needs to look at his own approach to address the inconsistency. Just read that. I didn't like the way we played Saturday. Well, not like stating the obvious. We'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Coach Rhule will leave to go recruit Wednesday night. You know, they went Monday through Thursday last bye week. They're going Tuesday through Thursday this bye week. Very typical bye week schedules. Nothing too crazy about that. And Tommy Hill will be even better in another week. Malcolm Hartzog will be available versus USC. All right, UCLA is a really talented team. They are talented, but they weren't good. Not until they played us. I've coached at UCLA. They've never had a shortage of talent. Did you know Matt Rhule is actually the coach at UCLA when Deshaun Foster was there in 2001 as the running back? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yep. All right, Coach Rhule, how much time we got here, Jake?
Just a few minutes here.
Coach Rhule is trying to find a way to get the players to be more consistent. That has to be the most maddening thing. I had people before the game on Saturday, Adam, what's going to happen Saturday? My response, I have no freaking clue. My exact response. And they kind of got annoyed with me. And I'm just like, do you want me to make up some BS and pull it out my keister and hand it to you on a silver platter? Because that's what it would be. I don't know what Nebraska is going to do. I've watched Ohio State. I've watched Indiana. I watched the first half of Colorado. I watched the second half of Colorado. I've watched all these games. I watched the first half of Illinois, then the second half of Illinois. The first half of Purdue, then the second half of Purdue. Do you know what's going to happen? I am not psychic. I don't have a crystal ball. And that's one of the most maddening things because it is there. It is there. We have size up front. We have talent. Are there teams more talented? Sure, but not many in the Big Ten. Ohio State, Penn State, USC, maybe. They're incredibly light in the britches and the trenches. I'd have to dive into them more. Probably Michigan, although they just had a mass exodus to the NFL. They're top 6, not even top 5, top 6 linemen, their quarterback, their running back. Like, we are absolutely one of the top 5 to 6 most talented teams in the Big Ten. There's 18. That puts us in the top third, if not higher. It's there. The most maddening thing is the inconsistency. Jake, if you've got talent, if somebody has talent, but they're inconsistent, without knowing anything else, where do you think the blame lies for that inconsistency? There's two possible answers in my mind.
I would think coaching.
Coaching and effort. Those are the 2 variables, in my opinion. All right. This program needs to go to a bowl game. Yeah, so I've shared this before, and I'll share it again. At Big Ten Media Days, we interviewed Matt Rhule here on the ticket. He looked me right in the eye, and he said, if we don't go to a bowl game this year, we got serious problems. And he almost laughed, and I did too. The concept of not going to a bowl game was laughable all the way back in July. My pool was open, and I was swimming. Times have changed a lot. All right. He said, and I quote, "You're frustrated, and I'm frustrated," end quote. "Always going to ask for outside help when necessary." Wow, that's not something a lot of people would do. I don't hate that. Players that come to play for Nebraska get treated so well. That's true. That's true. And I quote, We see what we could be. It's just not consistent yet. End quote. My final thoughts on Matt Rhule's press conference. Some of the things make a lot of sense. Some of them seem obvious. I appreciate him taking responsibility, as he always does. Some of the things I don't really agree with, but that's okay. We're all entitled to our own opinion. And I don't have any other final thoughts on the press conference. You got anything, Jake?
No.
How's the text line going?
Oh, there's a few questions in here.
One you can throw at me real quick?
Oh, we better get to break.
All right. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do a couple of textual questions, and then I'll react to the major college football games from last weekend. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Across Nebraska, voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes, a vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the best place in Lincoln for a casual get-together, best place to watch a game, and the best for pre- and post-game. Catch college and NFL football as well as the volleyball action this season at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. What's better than wings, cold beer, and a Husker win? Enjoy great food and drink specials every day and tons of TVs to catch all the action. Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Leaves are falling and the temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Leagues are underway with winter leagues beginning December 1st. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your holiday, birthday, or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2-for-1 show, the Adam Carriker Show, the show where you get 2 hours worth of info in 1 hour because I talk so freaking fast. All right, we got 3 questions we're going to get to. Oh, and I was just chatting with Jake during the break. I was like, man, I really thought we might have a change in the play caller duties announced at the press conference today. I told my wife today, I was like, dude, we're going to keep our eye on it. There might be something announced. She's like, nothing's going to change. Nothing changed, and just one more instance where my wife is right and I'm wrong. All right, Jake, let's get to the text.
All right, 424-645-685. The Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line is how you can chime in on the show and ask your questions. We got a few of them here. 6090 text in. Adam, in your opinion, what is the one major thing derailing our offense?
It's the offensive line. It's why I've talked about it more than any other position group. We're not getting much out of our receivers. They're not blocking. They're not really getting open, although we had some open receivers last game, and Dylan missed them. Let's be honest. Let's be fair. He missed them. But again, I'm not going to put the world on the shoulders of a true freshman starting quarterback. That's on the coaches that made that decision. A rough quarterback decision 2 years in a row to put so much on him after making the decision to have Jeff Sims last year. The offensive line is the most experienced group on the entire offense. The defensive line, O-lines are the 2 most experienced groups on the entire team. We have the 5th most experienced group on offensive line in the entire country. We have the assistant coach who's been here the longest, Donovan Raiola, year 3. I used the word expectations and not potential, the E word and not the P word, because it was time to use that for the O-line. We haven't been able to run the ball. We have not been able to protect Raiola when it matters the most, even though we are improved in pass protection. I think we focused on it too much, but when we need to do it the most, 4th and 5, 4th and goal from the 5, what happens? Like 15 UCLA players sack Raiola at the 15-yard line, a 10-yard loss. Okay. UCLA, one of the worst pressure rate teams in the entire country, had 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss on Saturday. We can't run the ball. We don't protect Raiola when we need it the most. The Illinois game in overtime, those blitzers were running wild. They were running free. I don't want to put it all on the offensive line. It's not all on the offensive line. But if you ask me what the biggest issue is, an average running back can be really good with holes. A really good running back can suck with no holes. A quarterback isn't very good on his back, especially if the receivers aren't getting open. It's not all on the offensive line. But if you're going to ask me the position group that I had hoped would contribute the most, and we haven't quite gotten that return that I had hoped for. Did I phrase that appropriately, fairly, nicely? Feelings not hurt? Probably not. The offensive line. What's next?
Steven simply says, Adam, what if the process is wrong?
It's a fair question. You look at Indiana, zoom right by us. You look at Colorado, holy crap, that's a sore subject now. They're like tied for second in the Big 12. Kansas State lost, got upset. Iowa State lost, got upset. They are projected by a lot of people to be in the Big 12 championship game now, and if they win that one game, if they make it, and the rest of their games are winnable, they're in the college football playoff. My point is simply this. If the process is incorrect, we don't know that it is. We don't know that it isn't. We know that it's slower. That's what we know. The process is definitely slower than at other places. That's inarguable. Now, is it wrong, or is it just slower and better for the long term? We don't know, but what I see is things happening faster, things happening quicker, and things happening better at other places that don't have the resources we do. And that's hard to deal with, and it makes people question if we're ever going to get there, and I think that's a fair question. If the process is wrong, I'm not going to answer that question. All right, what's next?
Southpacker Dan asked, we all want to make a bowl game. Do you think we would have a lot of players opt out of a bowl game if we did make one?
The answer is it's a two-part answer. It's the answer and then my response if this does happen. The answer is yes, because that's what people do in college football now, especially with the 12-team college football playoff. Bowl games are going to mean even less and less and less. A year from now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about going to a bowl game. Unless we don't go to a bowl game this year, I'm going to be like, all right, we finally went to a bowl game. Now it's the college football playoff. That's what matters. Okay. But Nebraska hasn't been in so long. I'd like to thank everyone who opted out of one a few years ago. And I was one of the few people that vocally said I didn't agree with that, and I got lambasted for it, but that's okay. I'm still standing while I'm sitting, but you get my point. If players opt out, which they probably will if we do go to a bowl game, it's their right. It is their right. I don't think it should be. I think there should be fines. I think there should be punishments because you're not honoring the entirety of your scholarship, which is a contract. That's my opinion, but that's a topic for another day. I will have some thoughts. They will not be in support of mass opt-outs, and they will be strong, and I will voice them at the appropriate time if we get to that point. All right. Anything else, Jake, or is that good for now, question-wise?
I think that's good for now.
All right. How much time I got?
About 2-3 minutes.
That's all I need. Time to react to college football games from this past weekend. Boise State, Lambase, easy for me to say, San Diego State, 56-24. Good Lord almighty. Ashton Genty ran for 149 yards, 2 touchdowns. All right, he's still one of the top 2 Heisman candidates in the country. Oregon beats the team formerly known as Michigan. That's a bad joke from a Nebraska guy, but they are 5-4, but that's okay. Oregon goes into Ann Arbor. Just great to see, programs and uniforms like this playing each other on a much more consistent basis, from USC to Michigan to Penn State to USC to Oregon to Michigan. That is one of the awesome things about conference realignment. If you're a Pac-12 fan, maybe not so much, although you are making a resurgence, but I digress. Oregon beats Michigan 38-17 in Ann Arbor. Florida and Georgia. This was a game. There were fights in the stands. I'm not encouraging fights in the stands. I'm just saying this is a heated rivalry and a heated game. Georgia was tied with Florida 20-20. Unfortunately, Florida's quarterback goes down with injury. Speedy recovery to him. I don't know what his injury is. Georgia ends up pulling away 34-20. Ohio State, Penn State, the game of the weekend. Penn State comes out 10-0, pick 6. Here we go. They're finally going to get over the hump. All of a sudden, Will Howard gets his revenge. All right, the Ohio native, a couple of touchdown passes. Ohio State really never looks back, to be honest with you. Penn State's defense scored more points than their offense. That's never great. Ohio State beats Penn State 20-13. They're now the number 3 team in the land. Penn State, here's the thing, they're still both going to make the college football playoff. I mean, unless they just have an utter collapse, which Penn State doesn't have a tough schedule the rest of the way, and Ohio State's probably going to get in unless they just collapse. So they're both probably going to get into the college football playoff. All right, Miami beats Duke 56-31. I'm sorry, 53-31, where nobody wanted to play defense. Tennessee beats Kentucky. Man, Kentucky doesn't have a great record. They're 3-6, but they are the king of playing top 10 teams really close. Remember when they only lost by like 1 point to Georgia? But Tennessee wins 28-18. A&M runs into a buzzsaw. This is a South Carolina team that only lost by 2 to Alabama on Bama's home field. Then they had a pick 6. Had LSU beat. The quarterback, after you throw an interception, is a live player. You're no longer a quarterback. Gets blocked to the ground, lays there, acts hurt. By the way, walks off the field just fine afterwards. Flag, called back. South Carolina ends up losing that game. This is a team that's 5-3 that could have been 7-1, 6-2. They smoke A&M, who's still probably going to get in the playoff. And I predict right now, Jake, mark it down. I predict A&M beats Texas later on this year. On Kyle Field. At Kyle Field. Iowa State goes down to Texas Tech 22-23. Iowa State still in the Big 12 championship game running. Clemson gets thumped 33-21. The game was not that close. Look at the stats. Watch the game. This was a thumping. They got spanked like a 4-year-old in Kmart, ladies and gentlemen. Indiana is for real. 47-10. They take down Michigan State. Kansas State also upset, loses to Houston. That's Houston's the highest ranked team they've beat since 2017. Pittsburgh, SMU, big-time ACC showdown. SMU kind of mollywops them 48-25. SMU is for real. They're back from the death penalty that they got served in the 80s. Ole Miss dropped 63 on Arkansas. Nobody wanted to play defense this weekend. Army beats Air Force. They seem to be the best of the academy teams. We'll see when they play Navy. And Illinois gets upset by Minnesota. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Adam Carriker. He's been producer Jake. Until next time, go Big Red Nose. Remember, it's Meltdown Monday. It's okay. We'll see you on Tuesday. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bones.
Across Nebraska, voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes. A vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of